Welcome back to LimQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit every day until the sequel Tears of the Kingdom comes out, which is today in 65 days. Just to mention it real quick, I teleported from down here back to this shrine. Some people like to follow this playthrough around as they get Korok seeds themselves. You didn't really miss anything. That's basically just a teleport that I did outside of the recording. And today I want to talk about speedrunning Tears of the Kingdom. How does it even make sense? The game isn't even out. How am I going to speedrun that game? It's mostly about people asking me on my stream if I will be speedrunning the game, and me kind of giving you thoughts on what sort of speedruns I want to do in the game and how I hope that the speedrun will play anyway, kind of explaining you what I look for when deciding to speedrun a game. It's a little bit different for Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like I'm going to speedrun regardless, even if it's not necessarily my favorite gameplay, just because of how much I played this game and people almost like expect me to do it, and I'm obviously interested in it. But let's start, basically, so let's start with that. I will be speedrunning the game. Another question that people ask is how long will you be waiting before you speedrun, and I want to talk about that too. So, when the game comes out, I will do a pretty thorough casual playthrough to the extent that I feel like is fun. I'm usually not that much of a completionist, which means I don't feel like I have to 100% the game if it's not something that feels fun. In Breath of the Wild, 100%ing the game, for example, was not fun for me, as it was mostly just getting Korok seeds. I think in my casual playthrough I had like 200 Korok seeds. So I'm gonna do everything casually that I think is interesting without looking up. I mean, maybe towards the end I'll look up guides and will probably start finding new interesting things from the community on Twitch and just like from watching YouTube videos. I think that's how casual playthroughs go nowadays. You find something cool that maybe you hadn't seen before on YouTube and then you try it out yourself. Speaking of which, those sort of discoveries and maybe cool little tricks for your casual playthrough I will start releasing on this channel, LimQ Plus, when the game comes out. My main channel is going to be reserved for challenge and speedruns and like highly like more edited content. But those little hints and tricks maybe will be on LimQ Plus, not on a daily basis, but every once in a while. That's what I'm gonna do casually, and then I do want to move on to speedrunning relatively quick. Again, I'm not gonna be rushed. It's not gonna be the first thing on my mind when I get my hands on the game, because I want to experience it first. But genuinely, one thing that I like about video games, probably more than usually playing them casually, is routing and figuring out the speedrun. For me, honestly, as much as I like going fast in a game, some of the most fun I've had in speedrunning is coming up with new optimizations and routing. And I'm gonna continue to do that in Tears of the Kingdom, which means I want to meet up with other people that have already done their casual playthrough. I want to start messing around with speedrunning stuff in probably some Discord server and discuss how to optimize the game. That's something I want to do early on, and probably for the any percent speedrun. In case you still don't know what any percent is, it's essentially just beating the game as fast as possible from beginning to credits. No idea how that's gonna look like in Tears of the Kingdom. We still don't know how linear or open it's gonna be, and at what point you can like challenge the final boss. There was actually a tweet from Nintendo yesterday where they mentioned like choose your own path in Tears of the Kingdom, which made people think, oh, okay, maybe that's the confirmation, it's gonna be more open again, which I mean most people assumed anyway. The question is just gonna be if it's like Breath of the Wild where you can get super strong equipment after the tutorial and then beat the game. Like that's what this speedrun does, right? I kind of hope it's not that way. I hope it's a little bit more linear, not only because I enjoy longer speedruns, but also because not necessarily long in terms of time, but speedruns that show more of the game are cool for me, because people play the game casually and I enjoy showing people their favorite game being optimized, and the more game it shows, the more game is optimized, the more fun it is for me to run and showcase. But yeah, I will start with any percent as it's going to be most popular, but I do want to move on relatively quickly to a longer category. I don't know what that's going to be. It could be something like all tiers or like 100%, maybe 100% is not like 15 to 20 hours long this time. That's obviously something we'll find out over time. So that's basically my early plan. Now, when it comes to again, any percent and then move on to something longer, so like all tiers, or this is just what I'm gonna say because maybe you don't need all of the tiers to beat the game, maybe you do. And then something like 100%, because again, that shows the most of the game, and I think it's really cool. So that's what I'm going to be streaming most of the time. Now, when it comes to actual speedrunning gameplay, I talked about this before. I personally hope that the glitches that we have in this game, like wind bombs and the BLSS, the bow lift smuggle slide, where you like slide around on the ground, are no longer in the game. And not because I'm against them existing, but because I want to do something else. And if I wanted to do wind bombs and the slide, I could simply continue to play this game. But I want something new. And that's why I personally want them to be patched out. Now, traditionally, I enjoy speedruns with cool movement. Some people enjoy RPG speedruns. Some people enjoy speedruns like Undertale, where you have to be like really fast with your menuing and really precise with your small movements. I enjoy speedruns with flashy, fun movements. The first game I have ever speedrun was Super Mario Odyssey. Later on, I speedrun a game called It Takes Two, which is like a co-op, very movement-heavy game. I enjoy Neon White, which is a completely movement-driven game. I guess it has a little bit of FPS elements. And the reason I really got invested into Breath of the Wild was the movement techniques, like the bullet time bounce, later on the wind bombs, etc., etc. So I do hope that, despite me also hoping that they patch out the current movement techniques, that there's going to be new ones that make the game fluent and fun to play. Otherwise, I can't see myself playing it for like a long time, at least. It would probably not be my main speedrun, and I would maybe move on to something like Silksong later, where I'm assuming that movement is going to be very important. Hollow Knight as well as something I played and even beat in under an hour, which is not super impressive, but still kind of impressive. I'm still kind of proud of it, because I learned the 80% strategies for that too. And I'm hoping that we get something along those lines in Tears of the Kingdom. Now, we already know we have movement options in terms of the vehicles to traverse the overworld potentially a little bit quicker. There's skydiving, which looks pretty fun to do, pretty fast to do. But something that I would love, and I talk about this all the time, this would be my #1 requested speedrunning tech, would be to, first of all, bring back some sort of grappling hook. And I can honestly see that happening. The way I could see that working out is Link using his green energy that he's using to move around islands, maybe to attach to surfaces, and he's able to like swing around at them or maybe pull himself up to them. I think that could be amazing, and I really hope that's something you could do. And making, like, optimizing movement with a mechanic like that, I think would be really fun to do. And I think our chances for that are not super bad, because I do think that Nintendo has prioritized moving around in the overworld more efficiently now, just because that people already know the main idea of the world and they want to get to the new stuff. So there needs to be efficient ways to reach that new content. Which is why I think, as much as that's like kind of like a pipe dream in a way, getting a grappling hook and also using it for speedrunning, I think there is some chances that this could actually end up happening. Now, I do have to focus here. This Korok seed is a bit annoying because usually, especially at night, which it is now, there's a stall enemy that will spawn right in front of me as soon as I'm trying to reach this goal. Thankfully, that did not happen this time, so we actually barely made it. I probably made some of you annoyed just then, because I know that I casually took quite a bit of time to get that Korok seed, and then you always have to run back up to actually reach it. But yeah, again, speedrunning tutorials, by the way, in general, is something that I'm planning on doing again, just like I did for Breath of the Wild. At the start, I probably won't do something like a full any % tutorial, because the routes and the strategies will change on literally a daily basis. But if there's new fun and important tricks, you will also find small, unedited, explaining tutorials, like I've done in the past, like my wind bomb guide on my main channel, on this channel, and I'm gonna put them out as soon as they're found. So if you are looking forward to learn some strategies, again, you'll find them here. I kind of explained my plans on speedrunning Tears of the Kingdom in general and my hopes for it. Now, this is the Korok seed I was talking about yesterday. I guess I remember that there's like when you look at this laser down here, the balloon is eventually gonna get to this laser. So even when it's foggy like this, you will eventually get your shot. Okay, well, the balloon did line up there. Okay, actually, let's study this Korok for a bit. Where does it, like, stand? I think the lasers would be a good visual cue. It does kind of stop above these lasers here for a little bit, so that's where I'm going to be aiming. This is one of those annoying ones. Let's wait for it to come back above the lasers, and then it does chill there for a little bit, so that's actually a pretty good shot to take. Definitely a more annoying one. And now last but not least, after talking about speedrunning Tears of the Kingdom, let me end this episode today with showing you a little neat speedrunning trick that people still don't know. I get people's reactions in my Twitch chat quite often for when I do this specific technique. And it's a pretty cool one. And actually fits perfectly here, because we need to go here now to get a Korok seed and a shrine. So we are on this random part of the wall, and I talked about this before. The shrine we're gonna get is the shrine at the Great Hebra Skeleton, which if you move around in this area of the game, your Sheikah sensor always is like beeping, right? And that drove me nuts, because I was like, there's no shrine here, I can't find anything. This is because the entrance of it is on the other side of the wall. But I just set up skew, and now I'm gonna do this very weird looking setup where I jump back here, aim here, and I then clip into the wall. Now I'm inside the mountain, which is already one step closer to where I need to go. I blow myself up to get rid of the ragdoll glitch, which is infamous and annoying. Then aim around here, should be good, and go for a wind bomb. It was not good. I was actually aiming too far right. Again, not having a minimap makes wind bombs a little bit more annoying. Just a little bit. So I need to aim more left. Let's try this. Let's double check on the real map. Okay, looking good this time. We fly up here, and we are currently inside of the mountain. You see, everything is like kind of weird, and the textures are kind of smeared. But you can actually see the Great Hebra Skeleton below me, which I've now discovered. And if you go to specifically this part, where these kind of two out-of-bounds walls kind of meet, Link will then clip back inbounds, and that actually gets him perfectly to the point where you get the Korok seed. So I can now get the Korok seed and then get the shrine, and then wrap up today's episode. Optimizing this part of 100% always feels pretty fun. This is another one of those Korok seeds that likes to trick you a little bit, though. That flower goes all over the place. Going to the right here at first, then even more right, and then I think it goes back to the middle.
Rivali's Gale is now ready.
Thank you, Rivali. If you do come here casually, don't forget to take a photo of this skeleton for a quest later, if that's something you want to do. But I was just after this Korok seed and the location of the shrine itself. And then we're going to check on the map. I think we are pretty close, if not over 82% at this point. 82.87% at the Tukwuomo shrine. 65 days to go until Tears of the Kingdom. That is pretty soon, honestly. Like I said yesterday, I think 65 sounds a lot closer, and we're gonna be at the 50s soon. But thank you once again for watching LimQ+. I'll see you tomorrow when we have 64 days until our game. And peace.